My name is Kristina. I'm a film technician in IATSE 891, and I'm also actually autistic. I kind of have two jobs in the film industry. One is like my technical work, which is on set, and then the other job that I have is I'm an elected trustee of our Health and Benefits Trust for 891. I don't think it would have been possible if I didn't have my job, which allowed me to save up the amount of money required for private diagnosis. Through the benefits that our union has, I was able to start accessing mental health care as an adult for the first time and just general health care. In 2018, I was injured on a work site. I had a really bad concussion. I was in a day program for concussion therapy, and I got in front of a neuropsychologist for the first time. They started asking me some questions about my background and the routines that I use for executive functioning. They asked me if I thought that I could be neurodivergent or specifically have ADHD or autism. And then they asked me some questions about my family, and it got me thinking about a lot of my cousins and my father and my brother's life experiences with their diagnosis. And it definitely reinformed my rehabilitation. And from there, I started kind of putting things together slowly that, maybe diagnosis is a thing that would help me out and something worth exploring. I don't think I really knew that I needed help as a small person, but as a teenager, life got progressively harder in so many ways. I experienced a lot of suicidal ideation. I had a lot of isolation issues. I struggled with a lot of just feeling like I couldn't have constructive conversations with my parents, that they wouldn't believe me or understand it. When you don't have language or empathy to describe those experiences, or you get told that you're just fibbing, you realize that what you have to say about your own experiences isn't valued and it isn't useful, or you could get punished for it. And so you stop talking and you just kind of fold in on yourself. And over time, those little bits of isolation kind of stack and they compound. And so 10, 12 years down the road, you're a really miserable human being and you're confused and you don't know how to talk about it, and it's really hard. It's going to be hard the first time you reach, no matter what, for any type of help with anything, especially if you've got all these pressures on you telling you that you shouldn't, or that you're not worth it, or that you don't deserve it. But the important thing is that you reach for help now, in whatever way is most available to you. I think the biggest thing that prompted me to look at diagnosis as an adult was that I wanted to see if there was something important that I was missing from how I manage myself, my life. I felt like a lot of times through being quite young to all the way up to now, that I kept trying to crush myself into systems or ways of being that didn't fit or make sense. And I kept getting mad at myself for not being good at things that were so easy for other people to do. When you're shooting film or when you're working with a camera, the filters you put on a lens change the way that you see a frame or a story, right? Understanding autism was a little bit like getting a new filter kit. It changed the way that I could see myself through my past and my family. And then I could start to kind of work on what it would do for, or how I could be if I wanted to be a part of things or a part of people's social networks, what I could do as a better friend and as a better coworker. I understand the priorities around getting younger folks diagnosed. That makes a lot of sense. But it'll also help a lot of us as adults reach our full potential, both personally, interpersonally, and economically. One of the things I loved about Autism BC is that they are actually starting to talk about how many of us actually do work full-time and have, jobs that keep us outside of the poverty line. Getting access to diagnosis is a huge component of that. What I wish people could understand is that the same person that was at this level of proficiency as a technician before they were diagnosed with autism is still the same human being. I'm still the same person. But I would like supervisors and people that work with autists to realize that, hey, you hired us because we're good at things. So when we're trying to communicate to you about the things that maybe we need a little bit more help with, listen. In the end, what I kind of thought made it the most valuable is that it would bring clarity. I could say definitively, these are the places on the spectrum where my autism presents. You kind of have to take ownership of that process. And that starts all the way from picking the doctor to deciding what you'd like to achieve after getting diagnosed. It's taken a long time, but I've managed to build a really nice life, right? And I think that anybody that's struggling right now should know that it's very possible to build a really nice life for yourself, regardless of where you think you're at.